Hey residents of Meepletown, today we're going to be looking at Expedition to Newdale by Alexander Pfister and Lookout Games. Now this is in the Oh My Goods universe. I'm a fan of Oh My Goods, so I was pretty excited to try this. I say let's just dive in. Let's look at Expedition to Newdale by Alexander Pfister and Lookout Games. Alright Meepletown, so we have Expedition to Newdale set up and we are ready to roll. Now I have done a few things to kind of speed this along so that I can dive right into gameplay, because I'm going to do what we always do, and that's going to be just kind of dive in, start playing the game, and as I'm playing the game, I'm going to share and teach how the game is played. So one of the things I did really quickly is we do start off with 8 cards, and then we go down to 5, so we're going to discard 3. I've gone ahead and done that for myself and then for the opponent over here that I am playing. You're going to notice that both folks start with coal mines, so you always start with a coal mine and you always start with 5 coal on here. So if you're familiar with Oh My Goods, you're going to see a lot of similarities with the cards, but there are some differences here. By the way, every coal is worth whatever value it is down here. So this value, this says that every coal on the coal mine is worth 1 gold. There'll be other cards that you're going to see that may be worth more than 1 gold. So every good may be worth 2 gold, maybe worth 4 gold. So we're going to start off with coal mines, and we're going to start off with 5 coal, which is worth 5 gold. Also, we start off with secret objectives, and these secret objectives have to do with placing our buildings out here on this map. So unlike Oh My Goods, you have a board here, and we're going to be placing the buildings out here, and really all they have to do with are the type of symbols that you're going to see up here. It may be, some of them may have to do with stars, or it may just have to do with the shape, like this shape right here. So every time she builds on one of these, at the end of the game, she's going to get 2 victory points. Also, they're all identical in that you also get 2 victory points anytime you build on these little monuments down here. So I'm going for this shape, she's going for the other shape. Really, besides that, we have our buildings right here. We also are going to start with 2 workers, so we can unlock the 3rd and the 4th worker over the course of the game, but we're going to start off with 2. Now, one thing I do like is that this is very good in explaining how the rounds go. There are 7 rounds in this game, and it's a victory point game. It's just like so many other games. We're going for how many victory points we get. We will have 6 rounds for every single round, or whatever, 6 phases for every single round for all the 7 rounds. Now, before we get started, I will say that there's minimal spoilage here. I'm not going to read any of the fluff text, any of the story, in case anyone doesn't want to hear that. If you don't know, this is a game that you are going to build on. There is story that's woven throughout each of the chronicles. So this is part of the story, though this is kind of minimal. Let's talk about really quickly how we're going to score the game to see who wins. First, you're always going to have whoever has the most fists in their tableau, which you'll probably see that over the course of the game, will get 4 victory points, 2 for second most, 1 for third. Also, every coin at the end of the game can be traded in. Every good or coin value is going to be traded in 5 for 1 victory point. So right now, if the game ended, I would have 1 victory point because I have 5 value worth of goods. Also, your secret objectives, which I've shown here. Now, the actual objective for this first chronicle is we're going to be able to trade corn, bread, and meat at a much higher rate than 5 to 1. We're going to be able to trade 8 of any of these type of goods for 6, or 20 for 12, which is so much better than 5 to 1. I'd much rather trade 20 for 12 than 5 to 1. So really want to go for this. This is a big part of the game. Alrighty, so with that being said, we're going to dive in now. Now we're going to put this bag right here, which we're going to draw our workers out next to this player who's going to be the first player in the game. So this is going to indicate the first thing we do, and that is to flip over this event card. And when we flip over the event card, we're going to see a couple things. One, we're going to see which workers are already available this round right here. And then we're also going to have some kind of text that may give us, this one is a lightning bolt, means that we need to do something here immediately. And it's going to say, place the cards number 200 face up in the display. So I believe this is going to be the only other spoiler that we're going to have over the course of this game. And that is, so if you don't want to see this, I'm sorry, just fast forward a little bit. That is that we're going to put these 200 cards in the display, which they're all the same thing. They are all corn farms, which are hugely important if we want to be able to make those 20 coins to get the 12 victory points. just for the sake of the video, I'm going to place it right here just to kind of keep everything as zoomed in as tightly as we possibly can. But again, we're also going to see that we have 1 yellow, 2 green, 2 red, and 1 blue worker available already. And then we're also going to draw 4 of these out, and that's going to happen in the 3rd phase, but we haven't quite got there yet. So we flip over the card for the 1st phase. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to place these. Now, let's see here. We can place them on these on these spots here underneath our factories, underneath our buildings to be able to produce, or we can go to some of these spots right here to be able to. And you know what? I'll really quickly just run over what they do. Trade in 7 coins to unlock your 3rd worker, or 13 for 4. Here you can discard 2 cards from your hand to place 4 coal on your coal mine, and then 1 good on any other cards, any other building that you have out there. Here we're going to be keeping 1 card in our hand, discarding the rest, drawing back up. So if I had 5 cards, I'd keep 1, discard 4, draw 4 new ones, and then draw 3 additional cards. So this is a really good way to get a lot of cards. Unless you've got cards that you really want, then you're gonna have to wait on that because you don't want to trade those in. Here I'm discarding 4, or I'm getting rid of 4 coins in order to make some more powerful actions that we'll talk about here later, and getting 2 victory points. Here we're going to be doing a build action. Now there is a build action in phase 5, but we may want to do it here to either build 2 buildings in a round, or because if we don't build in phase 5, we're going to draw 2 cards. So we may want to do that as well. So I'm going to look at her cards here real quick. All right, so one good thing that she has going for her, really a great thing she has going for her, is she has a bakery and then a flour mill. And if we can look over here, we're going to see that we want bread so that we can get a lot of coins here. If we build the flour mill and then we build the bakery, and then she builds the bakery, then she can be able to do that. Plus, baked goods, these breads are already worth 5 coins a piece, so this can be really, really powerful. So she wants to get those out as quick as she can. They are pretty expensive, so she may have to build some other things first. Let's see here. I think that she is going to, we're going to look here as well and look at how the buildings, when we build one of these buildings, we're going to actually place one adjacent to one that we already have. And so, or we can take as many steps from one of those as we want to. We can take 1 or 2 steps, not as many as we want, excuse me. And you'll see what happens right here. So let me just go ahead and show you what I'll do, and I'll explain why I have done that. So she is going to decide that she wants to build, I believe, this cattle farm right now. So what she's going to want to do is she wants to build that as quick as possible. And what she's going to do actually is move one of her tokens here so that she can remove this, and I'll show you what that does here in a second. Then she is going to, so she won't build this round, she'll build next round. Then she is going to place a worker on one of these slots. Now, what these mean is if you place it right here where it says -1, it means that you have to have 1 less worker than what the requirement is. And so this requires 2 yellow and 1 red. Well, I've got 1 yellow and 2 red already. So in order, if she wants to for sure get 2 goods, 2 coal goods, she could place it right here, and then no matter what, she's definitely going to get those that round. Or she could be a little more risky and go over here and say that it's going to have that she wants 1 more. Well, she already has 2 red, and then she has 1 yellow. So really, if she goes here, it's not super risky. She just has to draw 1 yellow, which is, according to this, what they have most of in this bag. So she's going to take the risk here and hope that she draws a yellow. If she does, she could have 2 yellow and then 2 red, so that would be 1 more, and she could get 3 goods instead of 2, which early in the game, you got to get as much money as quick as you can to get your engine going. So that's the route that she is going to go. Now, I have a little bit different route over here because I don't have the bread, but I do have an abattoir, which can make meat. I've got a cattle farm and then this. So what I can do is, let's see here. All right. See, there are right here on these cards, you can build, this would cost me 5 to build this cattle farm, but if I build it on one of these spots, one of these landscapes, it would actually only cost me 2 because I could do -3 to build this cattle farm. Well, these tokens on the board, what this says, this is why that she went ahead and she's going to take one of these off. This says if I take 1 step and build, then I can take one of the ones in one of these adjacent areas right here. I really like this one right here because I've got a couple green, some wood that I could trade in. This allows me to one time, I'll have to discard it after I get it, discard these 2 in order to, then I have to give up my abattoir though. No, I've got another one. Okay. Discard these 2 to get 6 coal, which would be worth 6, which could be really huge. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to build my coal storage first. I think is what I'm going to try to do here. Yeah, so that I can then get the discount later and go ahead and grab that. So what I'm going to do is I am going to, first I'll go to this coal mine. I'm going to do the same thing that she did. I'm going to go for the +1, hoping that we draw out a yellow. Then I'm going to take this one and I am going to build, and I can do these in any order as I want. So if I do this action and I get these goods, I can use that money to then build, because if you didn't notice, this cold storage actually costs 7 and I've only got 5. So yeah, I'm gonna do that so that I can in round 5 draw 2 more cards instead of have to use that build action. So she's gonna go first. The first thing she's gonna do is this coal mine. But before we do that action on 4, we will draw out 4 of these workers, and both her and I are hoping that a yellow one comes out. So let's go. 1, 2, yes, a yellow one came out. All right, fantastic. Oh wow, a lot of yellow ones came out. So technically, we could have both done the one here that would be +2, because we have 2 yellow, absolutely, because we have 4, and we have 1 red. So we would only need +2 more than one of those. So we would just have needed one more red, 1 more yellow, or 2 more red, or 2 more yellow, and we've got all of that, so we could have been able to do that. But anyways, she's gonna remove this, which is gonna get her 3 goods on here, which now means that her coal mine has a lot more goods on here. Now that she's done that, she can run a production chain. Now, even if she failed to do this, so pretend like no yellows came out, I will say this, one of 2 things could happen. She could at any time go ahead and discard at that moment 3 of any of her cards to make up for the 1 worker that she didn't have. She didn't really want to do that because she likes her cards, but she doesn't have to, but you could do that. If you were to remove this, you would only have to discard 2 cards to make up for any worker difference. Okay, but no matter if you produce or not, you can do a production chain, which means that you can go and give up any of these stone goods, is what it has here. So any of the goods that on the side here have the stone to get another coal. I could give both of these away right now, but I'm not going to give this one away. She's not going to give this away because she might use this blue for in the future. So she's going to get rid of and discard the small watchtower, which we're not using the watchtower, we're just using this good. So she's going to get rid of that stone in order to gain another good. Now, anytime you production chain, no matter how many production chains you do, you get an additional good, all right? So even if I've discarded 3 of these to gain 3, I would still only gain 1 additional one. So she gained a lot. So she's got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 goods already. So this is a good round for her. So now she can do her other action, which is discard 4 of these, 4 value, to go ahead and remove this and gain 2 victory points. So this token is going to be removed. I'll just take that off the camera. She's going to go up 2 on this track. Now, you start on 3. So you may say, well, you have victory points 3. That's just how you start. She's going to go 1, 2. The cool thing about what she just did here is not only is she going to be able to get these tokens with fewer steps like you're going to see here in a second, she can also go further. Instead of going 1 or 2 steps, she can now go 3 away if she wants to. But in addition to that, she crossed this little line that says draw 2 cards. So in this game, cards sometimes can come as a premium. So now she was able to draw 2 more cards, which is going to help her tremendously. So she's having a really, really good first round. Whoops, I knocked that off over there. Now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do this coal action. I'm going to remove this, and the same thing that she did. I was able to have the 2 yellow, the 1 red, and then 1 additional, as it was a yellow. So I'm going to actually take 2 as well, and 3 as well, excuse me, and I'm going to place it onto my coal mine, giving me 8 total. Then if I look in my cards, I don't have any stone to do the production chain. I do, but I want to build this cold storage with my next move, so I'm not going to use that. And so that's exactly what I'm going to do here. I'm going to remove this to do a build action to lose 7 of these. So I'm giving up quite a bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All but 1 of my coal in order to build this. Now, what this is going to do, the coal storage, is whenever we get to this phase, I'm actually going to be able to take 2 coal and put it right onto my coal mine. And I get to do that for the rest of the game. So it was kind of cool getting to do that early on in the game. In addition, whenever you see these buildings being put out, they're going to have victory points on there. So you're going to see that awesome. I'm going to get 1 victory point at the end of the game for that as well. So, all right, we have done both of our actions here. Now we're going to go to the build phase. And so she's going to look at her cards here. And she's going to go ahead and build a cattle farm because she's got to get some more goods going. Now, to build the cattle farm, it's going to cost her 6, but she also has this thing that says that she can do for 3 less. So she could pay only 3 if she builds on one of these type of spots. Well, the reason she took this off is because generally you can only go without this 1 space. And if you go 1 space, then you can get, oh, actually, I totally screwed up. Sorry. I was supposed to put a build out for my cold storage. Whew, that's the whole reason I did that. Every time you build a building, you have to put one of these out. I put one of these out, and then I get to take one of the tiles from one of these spots in the roads touching this. And like I mentioned earlier, I want to take this tile. It's going to go here. It's a one-time use. I can use it later on. She wants to do the same thing, but now that her tile is removed, she gets to draw a tile even if she goes 2 spaces away. See, I only get a tile to draw a tile if I go 1 space away. So she is going to take her building and go 1, let's see. Oh no, you can't go on this river here. She was thinking earlier she'll go 1, 2, but you can't do that because that river blocks you. I don't know, I've played this game multiple times and I have forgotten that multiple times as well, because she really would like to have this right here, but I think what she's going to do, she really wants to build on one of these spots because she wants to, because she wants to get that discount. So she's going to go 1 space, 2 spaces over, and she's going to build right here, and it's going to cost her 3 less, so it's only going to cost her 3 to build her cattle farm. Now, she can place it on any of these spots here, which really they're just varying different things where like you can do 1 less worker or 2 more workers to gain 4 more, which is nice, just like, or similar, not just like, but that part is just like the coal mine here. I think she's just going to go to this one right next to it where there's 3 at the top row. She's going to build this, which is going to cost her 3 goods. So she's going to take those 3 goods off of her board right here. And then after she does that, she has placed that. She can now pick any tiles that are in one of the roads, in the center of any of these roads surrounding. She only has 1 choice, and that is to take this tile right here. So she's going to take this tile and she's going to place this into her tableau. Okay, so let's talk about this tile she just got, because you know what? She wants to use this right now, because what this says is, and you can only use this once over the course of the game, that she's going to get to draw cards equal to the amount of yellow laborers here in the workforce. So because there's 4 right now, she's going to go ahead and discard that, and she's going to draw 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. So she's having a fantastic turn here, because she has got a ton of cards. And again, cards can sometimes be hard to come by in this game, so she can use those for extra to make up for workers. She can use those for a whole lot of different things. So really, really an excellent turn for her. Now, back over to me, what I'm going to be able to do, because I'm not building, because I've only got 1 coin or 1 coal here, I am going to draw 2 cards because I need some more cards as well. And wow, I actually drew a coal trade, which is fantastic for me because I'm going to be getting hopefully a lot of coal over the course of the game. If I build this, I can start trading in 3 coal for 2 victory points every single round. So I don't know. We'll see if I want to do that or not. But I got to draw the 2 cards again because I chose not to build. For the final phase here, what we're going to do is we're going to get any of the bonuses that we have on these black cards. And as I mentioned before, mine says that I get to take 2 coal from the coal storage and to place it on my coal mine, which what that does is gives me 3 coal, which is going to be tremendously helpful because I want to build this cattle farm next round, and it's going to only cost me, it's only going to cost me 2 if I build this one. It would cost me 5, but I've got enough now to build this cattle farm, which I wouldn't have had before. So with that being said, I'm just going to play 1 round that because I know that was kind of a lot. You are going to play 7 rounds, and then at the end, as I mentioned earlier, you're going to be trading in your goods for coins, the value of your goods, for victory points, and whoever has the most victory points at the end of the game is going to win. So let's talk about art and components. Now, I will say that the cardboard, the cards and everything, they're fine on this game. You've got the little worker meeples here. They're fine. Nothing like to See, it's amazing, but it's also very solid and fine. I think the art is good on this game. It's very similar to Oh My Goods. I mean, really the same thing. This board looks pretty neat. It's nothing that overwhelms me, but it's good. It's fine. I will say there are several boards in this game. So there are 3 different boards, and both boards are double-sided. So as you go through these chronicles, you may flip over the board, and there may be more water. There may be cities. It looks different. It's really neat how the game progresses. So I think that that's really cool. So I would say art and components, they don't overwhelm me. They're fine. They're good. I like how there's variability in them as well. So let's talk about gameplay. All right, so let's talk about gameplay. One of the things I really like about Expedition to Newdale is being handed 8 cards at the beginning of the game. I have to discard down to 5, and then I have to make those 5 cards work for me the best possible way. And sometimes it's not super easy. Now, there can be some luck to that, which some people may not love, because you could possibly get handed a really good hand of cards for that specific chapter or chronicle, or you could be handed a group of cards that may not work the best for that. But what I will say is, with all of the new worker placement spots to go to and those little tokens that go out on the board, it really helps to mitigate that luck. And I think it's fun to go, okay, let me make these work for me and build this engine. And I'm a sucker for a good engine building game, and this is just that. This is a really tight game, though. I feel like when you're playing through this game, a lot of times you're progressing from the first phase, or the first phase, I guess that's it, or the first part of the game all the way to the round. That's the word I'm looking for. The first round to the 7th round. And sometimes you feel like, man, I'm just not able to do all the things that I want to be able to do. But as you get towards the end, you start to see that engine churning, and it gets really fun. And then the game kind of ends. The game's not a super long game, and I think it's fun. I think it's fun to go with this short amount of time, with these 7 rounds. How can I best make this thing work? And I think that that's actually a blast. Now, I will say, let's talk about it in comparison to Oh My Goods. What I think some people are going to like about this better is that it mitigates the luck factor a whole lot more. So you're not just flopping down cards on a table and hoping that you get those goods that you want and pushing your luck. Now, if you're a big push your luck fan, if you like Port Royal, you might like Oh My Goods better because you don't have quite as much of that in this game. You do when you're drawing out the workers from the bag, but it doesn't feel quite as much like that. I like that better because, again, all that's mitigated. You have more things to do than in Oh My Goods. Again, you've got those worker placement spots. You can grab those tiles off the board. You're determining where to build your buildings. I think that that's actually really cool. So I think there may be some people, and I know actually there are people who just don't really actually like Oh My Goods that think this game is really good. So there's that. So if you've played Oh My Goods and may not like it, there are definitely those out there that are in that boat. Now, I'm one who really likes Oh My Goods, and I really like this game as well. Let's also talk really quickly about the chapters of the Chronicles in this game. The story doesn't really grip me. This game is not highly thematic, and it's not a highly thematic story. So if you're looking for that captivating story, this probably won't give that to you. But it does add a little something in the game. Now, I will say negatively, the negative to that is you have to go through, and before you start games, you got to dig out cards and find the right cards and set the game up. So it's going to add more to setup. I asked myself, do I really care about the chapters? Do I really care about the story? Honestly, not that much. Like, you could probably do some similar things, but just having variable setup and having some of the things change over the course of the game. I would rather have that, but the story's okay. It's fine. It's something that I don't really love nor hate. And I don't know if anyone will like super love it. Maybe there's a few folks out there that will love that element of it. I think it's okay. So let's go ahead and let's move on to the final thoughts. As I mentioned earlier, I love being dealt that hand of cards and having this 7 rounds, which can feel short very often, and trying to make this work the best I can. It reminds me, almost gives me Agricola feels, like I gotta make this work, and it feels sometimes like I'm not doing a lot, but if I can get my engine going, then later in the game it will pay off dividends, and I'll be able to score a lot of points at the end of the game. And that's really the big part of this. I also, as I mentioned earlier, like how in comparison to Oh My Goods, it opens it up a whole lot more. This game seems a lot more forgiving than Oh My Goods, and it seems like you can go a whole lot more directions. If you're dealt a bad hand of cards, you can make it work for you a little bit better, a little bit easier. And it mitigates the luck, so I like that better. But here's the question before I give my rating. Do I like it better than Oh My Goods? And I will say to that, yes. And I'm a pretty big Oh My Goods fan. I like Expedition to Newdale better. Now here's another question though. If I were to only have one game in my collection, which game would I have? To answer that question, I actually would probably say Oh My Goods. And the reason is, the thing that I love about Oh My Goods is it's a cool little engine builder in a small box. And I take that thing everywhere. I'll throw it in my backpack if I'm going on a trip, if I'm going on vacation or something. I throw that. That is like a go-to game in my backpack when I'm going on a trip somewhere. And so there's a special uniqueness to it that I really, really like that I don't have quite with this. Now again, I like this. Also, I like how Oh My Goods is really simple to set up. This takes a little bit more time. It's not a ton of time to set up, but it does take some more time because you got to go hunt down the cards for the right chapter and all that kind of stuff. So I like this better than Oh My Goods, but I think I'd rather have Oh My Goods. But here's a cool thing. I get to have both, and many of us in Board Game World, we're not going to have to make that call which one we would rather have. So I'm actually going to give this a very similar rating to what I gave Oh My Goods. I'm going to give this an 8.5 out of 10, which means I quite enjoy this game. Alexander Pfister keeps putting out hit after hit, good game after good game, and I really, really enjoy this. So again, I'm giving this an 8.5 out of 10. If you're enjoying our channel, we would invite you to or to subscribe, to our channel. Even hit that bell for notifications so you can be notified when we come out with new videos. We also have a podcast. That's the word I'm thinking of. We've got a podcast on iTunes and Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, all that good stuff. Just look up Meepletown. We are Meepletown Games out on Twitter, on Facebook, and on Instagram. And finally, we're Board Game Geek Guild 3407. So thanks for coming down to Meepletown.
Thanks for joining us, and be sure to follow us on Twitter at Meepletown Games, and connect with us on the Meepletown Guild, Guild number 3407, at BoardGameGeek.com, and also subscribe to our podcast and YouTube channel. And until next time, thanks for coming down to Meepletown.